Life doesn't get easier. The world doesn't suddenly slow down to make room for your comfort. Challenges don't shrink just because you've been through a few of them. No, what happens is you grow stronger, sharper, more capable. You stop waiting for things to calm down and start learning how to stand tall in the middle of the storm. Think about it when you first started something new, whether it was a job, a business, a relationship, or a skill. It felt overwhelming. You doubted yourself, you hesitated, you questioned if you were good enough, but with time, repetition, and persistence, what once terrified you became second nature. You didn't make it easier, you became better. That's the beauty of growth. It's not about life reducing the weight. It's about you building the muscle to carry it. The same pressure that once broke you becomes the pressure that builds you. The same mountain that looked impossible becomes the path you conquer every single day. You're not meant to escape difficulty, you're meant to rise through it. Every level of your life will demand a new version of you. What worked before won't always work now, and that's the point. You're supposed to evolve. You're supposed to push beyond what's comfortable. The challenges that once looked like punishment are actually preparation. Life is training you for something bigger, a stronger mindset, a deeper purpose, a greater version of yourself. When you start to understand that, everything changes. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "What is this teaching me?" You begin to see obstacles as opportunities. You stop chasing easy and start chasing excellence. Because easy doesn't change you, easy doesn't grow you, easy doesn't make you great. You see, every person who has achieved something extraordinary didn't get there because their path was smooth. They got there because they learned to keep going when most people quit. They stopped waiting for perfect conditions. They stopped waiting for the struggle to end. They learned to perform under pressure, to find calm in chaos, to adapt when things fell apart. That's the real secret, not waiting for life to get easier, but learning how to get stronger. There's a moment when you realize you've been chasing comfort instead of growth. You've been waiting for the right time instead of creating it. You've been hoping the mountain would get smaller instead of building the strength to climb higher. That's when everything shifts. Because the truth is, your life won't transform when things get easier, it transforms when you decide to get better. Every time you choose discipline over doubt, every time you choose consistency over comfort, every time you show up when it's hard, you're rewriting your story. You're proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. The pain you feel today is the foundation of your power tomorrow. The struggle you face right now is building the version of you who won't flinch when the next challenge comes. So stop waiting for life to hand you peace. Create it. Stop hoping for the world to slow down. Rise above it. Stop wishing for things to be easier because they won't be. But you can get better. You can grow beyond limits. You can become the kind of person who no longer fears the storm because you've learned how to dance in the rain. That's where real strength is born, in the moments that test you, in the times that stretch you, in the seasons that seem impossible. Those are not your breaking points. Those are your becoming points. Every battle you've fought, every setback you've faced, every time you've doubted yourself, it's all been shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Nothing gets easier. Life keeps moving. The pressure stays. The world will keep testing you, but you'll rise higher, you'll push harder, you'll learn faster. You'll adapt, grow, and conquer, not because the journey has softened, but because you have become unstoppable. Challenges don't get smaller, you grow stronger. That is the reality most people avoid because they want life to bend for them instead of learning how to bend with life. You cannot expect the world to change its rhythm just because you find it uncomfortable. The truth is, life will always bring new tests, new trials, and new pressures. But what once felt impossible becomes manageable when you evolve. What used to overwhelm you starts to feel normal because you've built the strength, the patience, and the mindset to handle it. Growth doesn't come from waiting for the weight to get lighter. Growth comes from you developing the muscles to carry more. Think back to moments in your life when you were certain you couldn't handle what was in front of you. Maybe it was the loss of something important, the failure of a dream, or the uncertainty of a path that felt too big for you. And yet, somehow, you got through it. You adapted, you learned, you became more resilient. That moment didn't get easier. It was you who became more capable. Life didn't take away the challenge. It gave you the opportunity to rise above it. That's the pattern of growth, the rhythm of progress, the law of becoming stronger. Every time you face something that scares you, something inside you shifts. You can either shrink under the pressure or expand because of it. Pressure reveals who you are. It's the forge that turns potential into power. Every difficulty, every setback, every test has only one purpose: to help you discover the strength that already lives within you. People often wait for life to slow down, for problems to fade, for the storm to pass. But life doesn't work that way. The storm doesn't end. You learn how to walk through it with confidence. You learn how to breathe in chaos, how to think clearly when things fall apart, how to stay grounded when everything around you shakes. That is how you grow stronger. You don't grow by avoiding the hard things. You grow by stepping into them. Every time you choose courage over fear, you create a new layer of strength within yourself. It's invisible at first, but it's there, building piece by piece, moment by moment. The struggles that once made you doubt your worth become the very fuel that drives your confidence. The pain that once broke you becomes your greatest teacher. The obstacles that once seemed impossible become your foundation. Each challenge leaves a mark, not of weakness, but of wisdom. Strength isn't given, it's earned through experience. You don't learn resilience from comfort. You learn it from resistance. Every failure, every rejection, every time you fell to your knees and decided to stand back up, you were training your spirit. You were building endurance. You were creating a version of yourself that can't be shaken easily. You can't skip the hard parts of life and expect to grow. You can't pray for strength and hope it comes without struggle. Strength is built through the process of facing what you once thought you couldn't handle and realizing you just did. When you look at people who seem unshakable, it's not because they've had an easy road. It's because they've faced enough storms to learn how to sail through them. They stopped asking for smaller problems and started asking for greater strength. They stopped blaming the world for being tough and started taking pride in being tougher. That's the transformation that separates those who survive from those who thrive. Because thriving is not about a smooth path, it's about becoming powerful enough to walk through fire and keep moving forward. Every challenge that enters your life has a purpose. It's either there to teach you something you need to learn or to prepare you for something bigger that's coming. When you begin to see life that way, everything changes. You stop seeing problems as punishment and start recognizing them as preparation. You stop running from difficulty and start embracing it as your training ground. Life is sculpting you with every hardship, chiseling away the fear, the doubt, the hesitation, until all that's left is your truest, strongest self. Growth isn't loud. It happens quietly, through the nights when you keep going despite the pain, through the mornings when you rise even when your spirit is heavy, through the moments when no one is watching, but you choose to do the right thing anyway. Those are the moments that define who you become. You don't notice it at first, but one day you'll look back and realize the things that once broke you no longer have power over you. You'll realize the storm you once feared is now just rain on your skin. That's what happens when you grow stronger. Challenges don't shrink. Life doesn't ease up, but you change, you evolve, you grow from the inside out. You learn to adapt, to fight, to rise again and again, no matter how many times you're knocked down. You stop asking for the path to be easier and start asking yourself to be better prepared for the path. Because it's never the size of the challenge that defines your success. It's the size of your growth. When you finally understand that, you stop resisting life and start mastering it. Every level of life demands a new version of you. What got you here won't get you there. The same habits, the same thinking, The same comfort zone that brought you success today won't sustain you tomorrow. Life is a constant invitation to evolve, to stretch beyond what's familiar, to release who you were so you can step into who you're meant to become. Every new stage of growth comes with a new set of tests, and those tests are designed to awaken something deeper within you. You can't climb to higher ground while clinging to old ways of being. You have to shed the layers of fear, doubt, and limitation that once kept you safe but now hold you back. There's a reason why growth feels uncomfortable. Every time you're about to level up, life pushes you to the edge of what you think you can handle. It challenges your beliefs, it exposes your weaknesses, and it forces you to see where you've been settling. That discomfort isn't there to punish you. It's there to transform you. Growth never happens in comfort. It happens in friction. The moment you feel resistance, that's a sign you're moving in the right direction. Because the next version of you lives beyond that resistance. It's waiting for you on the other side of your excuses, your fears, and your hesitation. You can't bring the same mindset to every chapter of your life. The person you were when you started your journey might have been driven by survival, but the person you need to become now has to be driven by purpose. The skills you relied on before may not be enough for the next challenge. You have to keep upgrading yourself, your thinking, your energy, your habits, your standards. You can't expect new results while holding onto old patterns. The world around you changes, opportunities evolve, people grow, and if you stay still, you fall behind. The only way to stay ahead is to keep reinventing yourself. Every level of life requires sacrifice. To step into your next stage, you have to let go of something that no longer serves you. It might be a belief that says you're not good enough. It might be a relationship that keeps you stuck. It might be a routine that once felt productive but now keeps you stagnant. Growth always demands exchange. You give up comfort to gain strength. You give up certainty to gain expansion. You give up who you were to become who you're meant to be. It's not easy, but it's necessary if you want to keep moving forward. When you resist change, you resist your own evolution. You start feeling frustrated, restless, disconnected, and that's not because you're broken. It's because you're being called to rise. Life will keep repeating the same lessons until you decide to grow through them. The people who feel stuck are often the ones trying to solve new problems with old tools. You can't bring the thinking of your past into the possibilities of your future. Every next level of life requires greater awareness, deeper courage, and stronger commitment. You've probably noticed that every time you accomplish something significant, life immediately presents a new challenge. That's not coincidence, that's design. Life is expansion by nature. Once you conquer one mountain, it shows you another, higher one. It's not because you're being tested unfairly. It's because you're ready for more, even when you don't feel ready. You can't live at the same altitude forever. Growth is your nature, and the moment you stop evolving, you start shrinking. So the challenges you face aren't there to break you. They're there to reveal how much more you're capable of becoming. When you embrace this mindset, everything changes. You stop running from change and start running toward it. You begin to see struggle as a sign of growth, not failure. You stop clinging to who you were and start becoming intentional about who you're becoming. Every challenge becomes a mirror that reflects the version of you that must rise. You start making decisions based on your future self, not your current limitations. You start walking with confidence, even when the path is uncertain, because you understand that every step forward shapes the new you. Growth is not about adding more. Sometimes it's about unlearning. It's about breaking patterns that no longer fit the person you're becoming. It's about questioning your routines, your stories, your identity. The more you evolve, the more you realize that your old self can't come with you into your new life. You begin to see that every season of your life has a version of you that fits perfectly for that moment, but only for that moment. When the next season comes, it demands someone new, someone stronger, wiser, and more intentional. Every level of life will keep asking the same question. Are you willing to become more? Are you willing to do the work within yourself to meet the demands of what's ahead? Because growth doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. You choose to rise, to adapt, to expand your capacity. You choose to let go of what's easy in order to reach for what's extraordinary. You choose to evolve instead of remaining comfortable. And each time you do, you meet a new version of yourself, one who can handle what the old you could never face. Easy doesn't change you, struggle shapes greatness. The comfort zone is a silent killer of potential because it convinces you that safety is success. But comfort never built strength. Comfort never built character. Comfort never built legends. Growth lives on the other side of discomfort, and the people who achieve something extraordinary in life are the ones who stop running from pain and start using it as their greatest weapon. Every struggle, every hardship, every sleepless night, every failure you've endured, it was never wasted. It was shaping you, carving you, building you into someone stronger than before. The truth is, if everything came easy, you'd never value it. You'd never discover how powerful you truly are. You'd never push past your limits or uncover the depth of your resilience. The struggle forces you to dig deeper, to think bigger, to evolve faster. It teaches you lessons that success never could. You learn patience when things take longer than expected. You learn resilience when life knocks you down. You learn humility when your plans fall apart. Every difficulty is a teacher, and if you're willing to learn from it, it becomes your foundation for greatness. The people who create impact, who break boundaries, who change their world, are the ones who understood that struggle isn't a sign to stop, it's a signal to grow. They didn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. They made progress in the middle of chaos. They didn't pray for fewer obstacles. They developed the courage to face them. They didn't wish for life to be easier. They became better. They understood that greatness doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from transforming it into purpose. When you lift a weight, the muscle doesn't grow when it's resting. It grows when it's being challenged. The tension, the resistance, the burn you feel during the process, that's the very thing that makes you stronger. Life works the same way. Every challenge, every setback, every disappointment is resistance that's building your emotional and mental strength. You can't become powerful by avoiding resistance. You become powerful by facing it head on. The fire that you fear is the same fire that forges you into someone unstoppable. Struggle introduces you to yourself. It strips away the noise, the excuses, the false confidence, and it reveals who you really are when things get tough. It's easy to believe in yourself when everything's going right, but true belief is tested when nothing seems to be working. That's when you find out what you're really made of. You discover that you can handle more than you thought. You realize that failure doesn't define you. It refines you. You start to see that pain isn't punishment. It's preparation for the greatness that's waiting on the other side. When life gets hard, you have two choices. You can retreat into comfort, or you can rise into strength. The first option gives you relief for a moment, but the second one gives you transformation for a lifetime. Struggle teaches you persistence. It forces you to keep showing up even when progress feels invisible. It trains your mind to stay focused, your heart to stay committed, and your soul to stay grounded. Every time you push through difficulty, you build a deeper sense of trust in yourself. You stop fearing failure because you've already proven that you can rise from it. The greatest people in history weren't handed their greatness. They built it through relentless struggle. They fell, they failed, they were doubted, rejected, criticized, and still they rose. They didn't have less pain than anyone else. They just decided to use that pain differently. They let it drive them, not define them. They let it awaken their power instead of breaking their spirit. Struggle is the birthplace of greatness because it forces you to grow beyond who you were yesterday. Without it, you stay stuck in potential that never becomes reality. Every time you face adversity, you're being invited to rise. The struggle you're in right now isn't there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. It's shaping your patience, your courage, your wisdom. It's teaching you how to fight for what matters. It's showing you that success isn't about things being easy. It's about you becoming the kind of person who thrives even when it's not. The harder the climb, the stronger the legs. The tougher the test, the wiser the mind. The deeper the pain, the greater the purpose that follows. Easy will never change you. If life feels too comfortable, it means you're not growing. You need resistance to rise, challenge to expand, pain to awaken power. Every struggle you've faced has been molding you into a stronger, wiser version of yourself. When you look back, you'll realize it was never the easy days that made you who you are. It was the struggle, the fight, the moments you wanted to quit but didn't. That's where greatness is born, in the fire of adversity, in the weight of resistance, in the courage to keep going even when it hurts. Stop waiting for things to get easier, master your response. Most people spend their lives hoping circumstances will change, believing that peace will come when the chaos ends, success will come when the struggle stops, and confidence will come when the fear fades. But life doesn't work that way. The world doesn't slow down just because you're tired, and challenges don't disappear just because you wish they would. The secret isn't in making life easier, it's in learning how to control how you respond to it. Power doesn't come from the absence of difficulty, it comes from mastering your reaction to it. When something goes wrong, most people's first instinct is to blame. They point to circumstances, people, timing, or luck. But the ones who rise above that level of thinking know that the moment they take full responsibility for their response, they take full control of their destiny. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can always control what happens within you. You can decide how to think, how to feel, how to act, and that decision, moment by moment, determines the quality of your life. When you learn to master your response, you stop being a victim of circumstance and become a creator of outcomes. You realize that while you can't always predict the storm, you can build the strength to stand through it. You can't always stop the wave, but you can learn to surf it. The difference between people who grow and people who crumble isn't the size of their problems. It's the strength of their perspective. The ones who master their response see opportunity where others see opposition. They find growth in pain, meaning in struggle, and direction in chaos. The truth is, life will test you over and over again. You will face rejection, loss, failure, betrayal, and disappointment. Each of those moments is an invitation to rise or retreat. Most people let those moments define them. They give away their power to frustration, fear, or hopelessness. But you don't have to live like that. You can train your mind to respond differently. You can teach yourself to pause before reacting, to breathe before exploding, to think before quitting. Because real strength isn't about controlling the world around you. It's about mastering the world within you. When you're faced with something hard, your mind will want to panic, to resist, to escape. That's natural, but mastery begins when you decide not to obey that first instinct. When you choose to stay calm in chaos, you begin to separate yourself from the ordinary. When you refuse to let fear dictate your choices, you start leading your life from a higher place. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally intelligent. It's about recognizing that your emotions are signals, not commands. You can feel anger without letting it control you. You can feel fear without letting it stop you. You can feel pain without letting it break you. Every situation you face in life gives you a chance to practice this mastery. The traffic jam that tests your patience, the delay that tests your persistence, the failure that tests your belief, they're all training you. The more you practice choosing your response consciously, the more powerful you become. You start realizing that peace is not found in a perfect life. It's found in a disciplined mind. Happiness is not the result of everything going your way. It's the result of you choosing your way no matter what happens. When you stop waiting for life to get easier, you take back control. Because waiting for easy means you're giving your power to the external world. You're letting conditions decide how you feel. But when you master your response, you stop being reactive and start being proactive. You stop living based on what happens and start living based on who you decide to be. That shift changes everything. Suddenly, setbacks become setups for growth. Challenges become opportunities for mastery. Every difficulty becomes a doorway to greater strength. Mastering your response doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It means you won't be ruled by it. It doesn't mean life won't hurt. It means you'll know how to heal faster. It doesn't mean problems won't come. It means they'll no longer control your peace. You'll begin to realize that every time you choose calm over chaos, focus over frustration, and purpose over panic, you grow stronger. You start seeing that the world outside is simply a reflection of your world inside. If you can manage your internal world, the external one loses its power over you. There comes a point when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing control. Not control over others or over life, but control over your mind, your attitude, your reactions. That's where true freedom begins. When you no longer need life to be easy to feel at peace, you become unshakable. When you stop waiting for the storm to pass and learn how to dance in the rain, you become powerful beyond measure. Because mastery isn't about what happens to you, it's about how you respond when it does. True power comes from growth, not comfort. Comfort might feel safe, but it keeps you stuck. It tells you you're fine where you are when deep down you know you're capable of so much more. Growth, on the other hand, demands that you step into the unknown. It asks you to face the things that scare you, to let go of what's familiar, and to push past the limits you've set for yourself. Power isn't born from ease, it's forged in effort. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you take back control of your destiny. Comfort zones are traps disguised as peace. They feel warm and steady, but they slowly dull your edge, steal your hunger, and silence your potential. You don't realize it's happening until one day you wake up and realize you've stopped dreaming big, stopped taking risks, stopped stretching yourself. Comfort doesn't challenge you to rise, it invites you to settle. It whispers, "Stay here, it's safe." While life is shouting, move, grow, evolve. The longer you stay comfortable, the more your power fades because real strength only develops through discomfort, challenge, and change. Growth is where power lives. It's in those moments when you don't know what's next, but you take the step anyway. It's in the times when you fail, learn, and keep going. Growth teaches you that every difficulty has a lesson, every setback has a purpose, and every challenge is shaping something within you. You don't build strength when everything is easy. You build it when you keep pushing despite the resistance. The pain of growth is temporary, but the strength it gives you lasts forever. Every time you grow, you expand your capacity to handle life. The truth is, most people crave transformation, but resist the process that comes with it. They want the reward without the struggle, the breakthrough without the breakdown, the power without the pain. But it doesn't work that way. Growth is uncomfortable because it requires sacrifice. You have to give up old habits, outdated beliefs, and familiar routines that no longer serve your future. You have to be willing to let go of who you've been in order to become who you're meant to be. And that's not easy, but that's where your power is born. When you step outside your comfort zone, you meet a different version of yourself, the one that's braver, smarter, and more capable than you thought. You start to realize that fear was never a signal to stop, it was a signal to prepare. Every challenge reveals more of what's inside you. The more you stretch, the more you find. Growth demands faith. Faith that even if you fail, you'll come out stronger. Faith that every step forward, no matter how uncertain, is shaping you into something greater. The difference between people who grow and those who stay stuck isn't talent or luck. It's willingness. The willingness to be uncomfortable, to be wrong, to start again. The willingness to fall and rise, to keep showing up even when it's hard. Growth is not a one-time event. It's a daily decision. You choose to grow every time you do what's difficult instead of what's easy. Every time you face fear instead of avoiding it. Every time you take action even when you're unsure. Power doesn't show up when everything feels good. It shows up when you move forward despite the discomfort. When you prioritize growth over comfort, you start to see the world differently. You stop taking things personally and start taking them as lessons. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" Every failure becomes feedback. Every struggle becomes a stepping stone. Growth gives you perspective. It teaches you that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. It's preparing you for the strength, wisdom, and resilience you'll need for what's coming next. The people who live with power and purpose didn't find it in comfort. They found it in growth. They learned to be okay with being uncomfortable. They understood that pain is part of progress and fear is part of faith. They didn't chase easy. They chased evolution. That's what true power looks like. It's not the ability to control everything around you. It's the strength to keep moving when things are out of your control. It's not avoiding fear, it's facing it and still choosing to move forward. Comfort may give you a moment of relief, but growth gives you a lifetime of strength. Comfort keeps you who you are. Growth reveals who you can be. The path of growth is messy, unpredictable, and often painful, but it's the only path that leads to power. Because when you grow, you expand not just your skills or success, but your entire being. You discover depth, purpose, and clarity. You realize that everything you were searching for, confidence, peace, fulfillment, was never in the comfort zone. It was always waiting for you in the place where growth begins.